What's up guys, Deffsquid here. So Season 5 of Warzone just dropped. We're going to check out the patch notes today, and I'm going to tell you all the things that changed. We've got a lot of changes here, so grab some food, grab a drink, let's hop into it. Alright, so starting off, I did already cover the Battle Pass in a previous video. I put that in a short, and I also have a long form video of it if you want to take a look at that. Let's jump into the playlist changes. It looks like there are quite a few changes here from what they've done previously. We have some weekday mainstays and weekday rotations, they're calling it. And then there's some things you guys could read out that are detailed here in the week playlist. So in the weekday game mode rotation, on weekdays, we're going to get Caldera Resurgence quads, Caldera Iron Trials quads, Rebirth Resurgence quads, and Rebirth Iron Trials quads. So they're bringing back Iron Trials, which is awesome. I do like that more than Titanium Trials. And alongside the above, the following game modes will always be available Monday through Thursday. So we're going to get BR solo through quads, Fortune's Keep Resurgence solo through quads, and Plunder quads. And they did say that they, listened to the community. People were mad that they took out Plunder. I know a lot of you guys, including myself, use that to grind out weapons and weapon camos and attachments because we don't have, the main Modern Warfare game. So that's good that that'll be back. And then there's also Rebirth After Dark, which we're going to take a look at. So for the Battle Pass, there is a Season 5 Battle Pass, of course, like always, and it does include 100 tiers of content, 2 free new weapons, the EX-1 Assault Rifle at tier 15, and the RA-225 Submachine Gun at tier 31. There's also a new Operator, 25 free items, and if you do the Battle Pass bundle, you immediately unlock 25 tiers. Just keep in mind, guys, that this is the last season of Warzone, so outside of the Battle Pass, I'm not sure how much I would spend in the storefront, given that those items do not carry over to Warzone 2 as far as we know. So for the events, I'm not going to jump too much into this. I did a previous video covering these events because they were in the Season 5 teaser. If you do want to look at that, check out my YouTube channel and you can look through that and all those details. But the Heroes vs. Villains event was one of them mentioned. They did detail some more information here about how we're going to be able to get special items and items specific to this mode. So that should be kind of cool. And skipping forward, looking at Fortune's Keep Resurgence, which is a mode update, where they're basically saying they're increasing the player counts across solos through quads. You can see on the screen here, we're going to get 50 players in solos and duos, and 51 players in trios, and 52 in quads. With an increase in the additional players, they've also increased the availability of supply boxes because they've been happy with the pacing of looting relative to squad size. So that should be interesting. It's going to make Fortune's Keep a little bit more hectic, a little bit more like Rebirth Island. Let me know what you guys think about that change in the comments. For the map, there are a lot of map updates. So Caldera, now as you can see in this picture, has, that kind of spine taken out. It's got lava flowing down in a lava pit. It's highly volcanic, as they say. So it hasn't really exploded, but, there's some changes. There's also this new, Villains Den here. This is a new, micro PLI that they've added below. You can see below peek here with a, whole evil layer and overlook over Caldera, so that should be interesting. It looks like a cool new POI. In addition, there's a boiler room gulag, and they said it's inspired by an old favorite. They essentially took the showers gulag that we all know and love and made it kind of look like, this new volcanic theme. So it's like a boiler room, but it's literally the same thing almost as the prison one. I'm excited to try that out. I was sick of the last gulag. Hopefully you guys like this one too. There's also new weather and lighting. So as I talked about in my previous video, the lighting was going to change. They talked about that before. I assume it's going to be more orange, more bright, and it looks like that in this picture. They probably put more of a sepia tone or something over it, more dramatic lighting, which I don't really love when they do that. I liked how the map was before, and I hope that they didn't overdo this, but we'll see when I jump in later today and play the map. For Rebirth Island, they also did new lighting changes. They said it's a sunset casting, and I'm not sure if we're going to like this or not. Sunset, golden hour, whatever you want to call it, kind of gives a high contrast. And you can see that in this picture. There's a lot of very bright areas and a lot of really dark areas. And Rose 2.0 skins, I'm looking at you. You're going to be hiding in these shadows and you're going to make me rage. And it's a bad story. So watch out for that. I hope that they did this right, but I don't have my hopes up. I am excited for Rebirth After Dark. I kind of liked when they did this previously. They did a similar thing in Rebirth, and I like that they're switching it up, trying to keep it fresh now that Fortune's Keep is kind of taken over. For bug fixes, you guys can go ahead and read through this. They also have known issues listed on their Trello board, which you can see here, and a link to it if you guys go to these patch notes take a chance and look this through if you need to. I'm sure they're always fixing a bunch of things with the game. And as far as gameplay, we have quite a few new items. We have the Doomsday Station, and it says here that it's a unique station that can be activated for 10k. It's kind of like the Fortune's Keep Black Market Supply Run. Pretty much the same, but a little different. One station will appear per match with multiple possible spawn locations, and you get some unique cosmetic items, and rewards are lootable by the player. There's also a supply box UAV. I'm not super stoked on this. I think this is a little weird. I don't think we need a UAV for supply boxes. I guess it's a new kill streak. You can activate it to mark nearby unopened supply boxes for 20 seconds. It says that they're represented in color. I think this kind of is unnecessary, honestly. But we'll see how that plays out. I could be wrong. There's also a personal supply box. This is another new addition to the game. It's a unique supply box that will spawn with your favorite loadout. So if you go in your edit loadout menus, make sure you choose your favorite loadout that you want to come out of this. You get loadout weapons and 2000 XP. For the Rage Serum, this is kind of like this, it gives you this like zombie strength or whatever. Players can use this field upgrade to increase movement speed, more damage with melee weapons or while unarmed. Lunge distance increased to 3.2, up from 1.4 meters, and melee stun power increased by 50%. I hope this is not frustrating. I don't know what it's going to be like to have someone with a Rage Serum running at me. Makes me think of like 28 Days Later or something. But they did try and balance it. I guess you have louder presence, visible rage, maybe they're like glowing red or something. Stuns and flash do slow them down more than a normal player. And I guess you can counter this with Battle Harden. So again, I hope this isn't one of those really frustrating features they put in and just have to take out. But I guess we'll see how this plays out. Now, there's a lot of quality of life changes. They changed precision airstrikes. I'm not going to read through this whole thing, but I'll let you guys look at this. Essentially, they improved like the danger UI notification, and it's more consistent now. It also says that they implemented a fix because it sometimes doesn't hit near the targeted site. That's really, really frustrating when that happens. And then they also added a danger UI notification if the player calling in that strike, whether it's cluster or airstrike, is too close to the targeted site. So there's just some quality of life things there. And they kind of explain themselves here as well. C4, this is a huge W. I had this problem. I would see a C4, I think it was a perk, grab it, and then I didn't even realize. C4 is like sideways now or something, I assume. One thing I wish they changed was that when you grab a perk, it gives you like a UI notification. Sometimes as we're grabbing and trying to loot stuff, we pick one up and we don't know what it is. So I'd kind of rather them added that too or instead of this, but this also is a great quality of life change. Gas mask. This is a huge one. I know a lot of you guys have still been having problems with this. There's now a toggle function in your settings. So make sure if you want to be able to toggle that gas mask on and off when you want to, make sure you go into your settings and turn that on. That's a huge quality of life improvement. And I hope this now kind of gets rid of that frustration of us dying because we're throwing our gas mask on or we don't know if we have to ADS or not. We'll see how that plays out. There's also buy station updates. The new supply box UAV kill streak can be found there. There's loadout create UI selection. It says that they added a setting that allows the loadout interface to remember the last loadout that was selected. I believe that's in the settings from what they talked about. This is something that a lot of people on Twitter have voiced their opinion about. There's also plane respawn functionality. So before, if planes got blown up, they would just respawn. They no longer do that. Now when they're gone, which is good because it got kind of frustrating when there's just constant planes. They are going to keep that in Plunder because it's Plunder, but no harm, no foul there. I think that's also a good update. So let me know what you guys think about these updates down in the comments. I think a lot of these are really good. And from here, let's talk about the perks. So perks, Serpentine. They finally updated Serpentine. I've been waiting for this to be nerfed again. I don't think it has a place in this game personally. But what they did was they basically removed fire damage, explosive damage. It's no longer decreased. Players later in the season will have to be tack sprinting, not just sprinting, tack sprinting for Serpentine to be effective. And as they say here, it's probably going to fall out of that main blue perk category. EOD will be kind of coming back into the fold because Serpentine kind of took that over. I honestly didn't know that was a thing. It decreased fire and explosive damage, but I'm glad that they're adjusting this, and I think Serpentine was way overpowered, and I hope that when they make that season change later, that it does kind of fall out of being this like thing that you have to run. Battle Hardened, this is also a huge deal. They didn't nerf stuns again, which I wish they did, but you can run battle hardened, and the stun and flash resistance is increased to 80%. And they just want to balance this a little bit more. You can loot battle hardened now too, making it a little bit more effective. And I think that stuns are just, again, one of those things that shouldn't be in the game, but they are, and they're not balanced. So maybe you're one of those people that wants to run battle hardened as well to counter that. Now there's a lot of weapon updates, guys. So because of that, I'm going to break this down in a more effective way. And we're going to go look at Warzone loadout on Twitter. They also have a website, but they make this really easy to break down. And I'm going to start with snipers because I know that's some of the big changes, snipers and tactical rifles. First, the 3-line rifle did catch a nerf a little bit. I do think it's still going to be one of the top sniper rifles, but you can see those nerfs right there aren't really considerable. They did buff the Tundra, they buffed the Type 99, and all snipers did get a flinch decrease, so that's also good too. All marksman rifles, and this is really big, all marksman rifles now use assault rifle ammo instead of sniper rifle ammo. They mentioned they don't want to make this like a new DMR meta, but we'll see how that goes. You can see on the right, they buffed the SVT-40, the G43, the 1916 M1 Garand. Those are all marksman rifles. Hopefully they balance them in a way that's effective, but not overdone, because again, I do not want another DMR meta. It was fun for a while. You guys, if you were playing during that time, you probably agree with me. It was really annoying after, it just wasn't patched for so long. The crossbow also received a buff. Not many people use that. It is kind of a niche weapon, but it did receive one. Now looking at SMGs, the Arma, Marco, and Blixen, the three kind of like top SMGs, all caught nerfs. The Armaguerra was my absolute favorite along with the Marco. And the Armaguerra had this crazy strafe speed, this crazy movement speed while you're shooting. They did nerf a lot of that. They hit it with quite a few changes here. I hope it's still viable because I did love this weapon, but I will admit it was a little overpowered. It wasn't balanced. You could literally just break aim assist on your opponent so easily. The Marco as well was a little bit overdone. It has a 60 round mag. You could stay off the mini-map. It's got these built-in weapon perks. It does a lot of damage. It doesn't have recoil. Like, it just needed balancing. And the Blixen is just kind of that tried and true gun as well, and probably needed a little bit of a nerf. Now, they did also nerf the combat shotgun. This is mainly for Rebirth and Fortune's Keep. It was absolutely infuriating to be killed by this. Now, on the buffs, we've got some really exciting SMG buffs here. The UGR got a 50-round magazine capacity increase for the explosive flechettes. The Finnick got a buff. The 1928, which is the Tommy gun, also got a buff. I hope that's more viable. I've really been wanting to try that gun out and, have it kind of jump back up to where it's able to be used. It's never really been a first pick weapon. There's always been something better. So maybe they're trying to make the Tommy gun kind of like one of the top options this season. The PPSH has been going up and down forever. Maybe they're trying to balance it some more. We'll see. I hope they didn't, make it too viable again. And for some reason, the P90 and Striker also caught a buff. I have not seen these weapons in forever. It is exciting that they're buffing MW weapons. I think a lot of people in the community want to see that in the last season of Warzone. Hopefully that makes these kind of able to be used. I would love to use the P90. No one has really used the Striker. It's always been awful. You could use it in a niche way, don't get me wrong, but it just it's not a good gun to use. So we'll see how it is now. And now we're looking at assault rifles. So 3 assault rifles caught nerfs. The AS-44, I love that gun, but they wanted it to be more of a sniper support, and so they did give it some more nerfs. I don't think it was really a good long-range option in Caldera. It was very good in Fortune's Keep, but slept on in Rebirth and Fortune's Keep, honestly. The Cooper was really, really good in the last season, and just a lot of people didn't agree or, didn't try it with those compressed rounds, so I think they're trying to balance that a little bit. The KGM-40 kind of raised up a little bit too much in the meta, so they're trying to balance that, so it's not the only AR to use. So it caught quite a few nerfs. And then there's a couple things that caught nerfs and buffs. The STG had a barrel that was nerfed, the VDD 760, so it caught a little more horizontal recoil, muzzle velocity was decreased, but they buffed the 60-round drum a little bit, so we'll see how that plays out. The UGM-8 got a sustained recoil adjustment. I don't know what that looks like. I'm assuming that's only when it's, not in burst mode. So we'll see how that turns out. That gun is pretty fun to use, but not a lot of people are using it. And then for the buffs, A lot of buffs with the ARs and LMGs. The bar, which it's severely needed, got a ammo magazine capacity increase to 50. The Growl got another buff. I know there's a lot of Growl users out there who liked it before and are going to like it even more now. The Grotza is kind of a sniper support. It got a slight buff. We have the Vargo 52, which also got some buffs. They've kind of adjusted this back and forth. It's a really fun weapon to use. Hopefully it's not overpowered. The Vargo S, which last season, it was kind of just a failure. I grinded this out, thought it would be good. Everyone tested it, and it just wasn't. So hopefully this kind of brings it back up to being viable, because I wanted to use it, and it just wasn't worth using. And then the Type 11 has always been kind of one of those LMGs that, you know, people kind of use as clickbait. I never thought it's been that good. I don't think anyone would agree it's like been amazing. So maybe now it's pretty decent and a good viable LMG option, because a lot of the LMGs just aren't really worth using. So that's it for all the weapon updates. I know there's a lot there, guys. What do you guys think about Season 5? Are you excited about it? If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. I am a new content creator. If you like my content and like my style, please like and subscribe. I'd love to build a community with you and see you in the future in my other videos. And with that, stay passionate, keep grinding. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you next time.